Welcome to Murphy's Diesel. Today we're working in the shop. We're doing some stuff that I've wanted to do for a long time. I'm not talking about the stuff we've already done, like put a water to air intercooler on it, new radiator, stuff like that. I'm talking about replacing these babies. Oh, look at that. That's where I keep them now. These worm gear winches. These slow winches that I've talked about replacing for years. We're replacing them with some 15,000 pound planetary winches from Warrior Winch, our new sponsor. What do you think about that, Diesel Boots?
Looks like I got my work cut out for me.
So not only are we replacing these, we are also putting 10,000 pound hydraulic winches for a drag winch and for our side puller winch. The reason I'm putting planetary winches on are because they are so much faster than these worm gear winches, and we just need more speed. Plus, I really like the new Warrior Winch product. So, what do you got?
From Factor.
Oh snap! Lunch is here, Diesel Boots. Thanks, bro. I am starving. How about you, Diesel Boots?
I'm always hungry.
Factor meals, always fresh, never frozen. In fact, they come in this little ice chest, Javi. Tell me, is that cold or what? What tickles your fancy, Diesel Boots? Got a fillet mignon?
What, a fillet mignon?
The fillet mignon's mine. White cheddar chicken?
White cheddar chicken sounds good.
I like a protein plus. I like some protein to go with my veggies. They send you a protein plus with a side of veggies like broccolini, broccoli, stuff like that. What's with your white chicken cheddar? Roasted green beans and almonds. And they also have juices and smoothies. What I like about Factor is literally it takes 2 minutes. There it is. See? 2 minutes. Just like that. Every fresh, never frozen meal is chef crafted. And they're dietitian approved. How can you beat that? 35 different meals to choose from every week. What meal is your favorite, T-Money?
The gluten-free chicken pesto zucchini noodles. Yeah.
Oh snap. Also, what I like about Factor is I'm always on the go. I've always got stuff going on. If you're like me, if you got a recovery, every hour, then you need a fast meal. You don't want to be eating fast food. Plus, it's cheaper than fast food. It's easier to prepare. You just see me prepare it in 2 minutes. Tastes way better than fast food, more nutritious than fast food, and they cater to all my needs, any schedule, and it's literally delivered to my door. How can you beat that, folks? And also, if you're like me and you have trouble controlling your proportions, they give you the proportion you need every time. They also have breakfast, smoothies, snacks, everything I need for my on-the-go schedule. Get some of this action. I just found my new favorite, fillet mignon.
It's pronounced flaming yawn.
Whatever. Factor also cuts down on grocery trips to the store. It cuts down on meal prep times. You guys see how busy me and Mrs. Rick are all the time. And we also have 5 kids. And they also cater to all of our kids' needs, like T-Money, you just seen. She is gluten intolerant. Factor is so flexible with our schedule. My whole family eats it. If we have a trip planned, I could cancel it for that week. Factor is my go-to option for when I'm working at the office, hitting the side of the highway with recoveries, or if I'm working in the shop on Hellboy. So when things get hectic this summer, choose Factor because they'll be ready and on your table in 2 minutes, and you could get back to the fun activities like working wrecks on the side of I-40. If you want to be as satisfied with lunch and dinner as I am, then head on over to factor75.com and use code MurphysDiesel50 for 50% off of your first Factor box and 20% off for your next month's order. Now what we're going to do is we're going to move Hellboy. We're going to crab walk it back into that corner, and then we're going to put the winches right there. We got 4 winches to install. We've already got the 18,000 pound Warrior winch installed. So this was our trial winch, that 18K. We trialed it, it worked really well. It actually broke this winch line right here. 33,000 pound braking strength. On the last layer, it broke it. Boy, I'm excited, folks. Hellboy is back in business. You couldn't do that with the other brands, folks. I mean, that winch would be toast. There's nothing wrong with that winch. Ship shape. Let's get them unwrapped, huh? Check these babies out. So this is an 18,000 pound electric winch. This is going on the world's largest off-road rollback. Oh yeah, ship shape. Just as I suspected. You're gonna have to stay tuned to see this one installed on the world's largest off-road rollback. But I just wanted to show you how well they're packaged, so you could literally drop them off the forks of a skid steer. And probably didn't even need to be packaged. You could probably drop this off the forks of a skid steer and it'd still be fun. They do come with winch fair leads, rollers. You can get them a synthetic winch line like those. Now this is the hydraulic version. That's a 10K. That is a beefy son of a gun. Well, wouldn't you know it, every time we try to work in the shop, we get a recovery. So we're en route. A 4Runner hit a tree. Down here on 89, standby. All we have available is our world's largest off-road wrecker. Because I blew the transfer case out of the world's largest off-road flatbed last week. What's spinning? Nothing. Nothing? No.
Oh, I see what's wrong with it.
What?
It's not in there anymore. No, it's hanging there. It's supposed to be making it.
It's trying to go into park. Truck I had available. Yeah, pretty much. It is when it's running. So.
Can you see it from there? I see it right over there in the trees.
I wonder what you were bringing, because Chris said you guys had nothing.
You see it back over here?
All right, folks, well, I'd love to show you this recovery, but unfortunately, Highway Patrol says I can't. So that's why y'all haven't seen a lot of our big recoveries on the highway. We're not allowed to film them anymore. Stand by, we'll be back at the shop working on the world's largest wrecker shortly. We just gotta get this 4Runner out of here. So we made it back to the shop. That recovery went real well, like usual. I wish I could have showed y'all, but unfortunately I cannot. But right now, I have to go help James test drive a truck. It's making a weird noise. With my expertise and his expertise, I believe we could get it diagnosed. Diesel Boots is going to pull these winch cables out. Stand by. Boy, let me at her. Let's see what this old dog's doing, huh? Looks nice, but smells like an ash tree. Well, it's got 2250 ISX in it. Game changer. Look at that with these pull cube knobs. Check engine lights on. Oh yeah, she's got an 18 in her. I love these car haulers. Oh, smooth, wrecker Rick. That's how it's done, boys.
directly under the floorboard, but I don't know if that's the source of it.
I mean, is it doing it right now?
Not really, not yet. We were up to speed when it started doing it. There it is.
Transmission. That right there?
Yep.
Well, we run into a snag. We were test driving this truck and it's too tall to fit under a 14-foot bridge. I'm trying to get back to the shop to work on Hellboy. Luckily for us, they used to call me Car Hauler Rick. So you gotta raise it, you gotta pull these pins out. You raise the rams, pull these pins out, and then you can let the car down. Fans everywhere I go.
This side looks good. I don't know about that side.
We made it back. Diesel Boots didn't get the winch lines off, so we're pulling the winch lines off. We decided that truck has a worn out transmission. That guy's gonna go down the road. It's not worn enough to change it. It's just getting a little gear lash and stand by. I don't know if that Jeep's gonna have enough power. Well, these boys turned this into an ordeal, but we got them off. And now we're gonna get the winches ready to go on. I don't know about y'all, but I sure do like that color. Is that a personal call, Diesel Boots, or?
DPS stuff, man.
Enough chit chat. We got our 10,000 pound winches right here. One's gonna be a drag winch that goes on the back of Hellboy. One's gonna be a side puller winch that goes on the side puller. And this is the boom winches. And this is a 15,000 pound winch. Now what we have to do is we gotta strip this wire rope off. We gotta strip these tensioners off because we're not gonna use wire rope and we're not gonna use tensioners. So stand by.
No, that whole thing to come out because it's pitched at an angle.
Are you just gonna talk or are you gonna get them off of there?
You want me to? Okay, fine. Let's see the way it is.
Sometimes you gotta rule with an iron fist. Not gonna need those. Now keep this in mind. Normally, if y'all are gonna run the wire rope, you're gonna wanna keep these tensioners. The only reason I'm taking these off is not because they're bad or anything. The only reason I'm taking them off is because we are running synthetic rope on these hydraulic winches, so we don't want the tensioners. Another thing that Warrior Winch will be sending me is air free spool kits for these. Instead of the manual, like the manual, you gotta pull these to free spool it. My other winches are manual. I don't want the manual. I want air switches, and I'm gonna mount air switches on my truck where I could just flip a switch and they're free spool. They free spool nice too, folks. Let me tell you. Check this setup. This is cool. Warrior Winch, they run a hole through the drum and they run the wire through the drum. And they put an Allen head right there. Right there, and one right there. It's got two holding it, and then you got 5 wraps on the drum, so it can't come off of there. That is freaking cool. With the other winch manufacturers, they usually have like a little bolt that'll mount on right here. And when it gets to the end, it pulls out of the socket, and then you have to put it back in. I spent many a nights running to the end of the cable and then having to fish it back in the hole and put the Allen screw back in. I'm sure a lot of y'all can relate to that. Let's see if they're big winches like that. I gotta tell you folks, I'm glad I made the switch over to Warrior Winch. I mean, that's pretty cool. I'm happy with the way they perform. I'm also happy with what I'm seeing so far. That sucker free spools just as easy as the other one. It'll free spool even easier when we get synthetic on it. Good. Yeah, just like the smaller one. It's got an Allen key right here and an Allen key right there. Set screws to hold the cable in there. Got the end of it right here, and then they put wraps on it, and then they go back through it again and then put another set screw right there, and it holds it to it. Almost makes me want to run wire rope. Beats off.
What's up?
No wearing your hat backwards around here. We don't do that.
Oh.
Keeps the sun out of your eyes. That's what it's for. And it doesn't go flat like that, like your Johnny Appleseed. It goes like that. Keeps the sun out of your eyes. Isn't that right, Diesel Boots?
Sure is.
Get in there. My dad always taught me that from a young age. You wear your hat like this, keeps the sun out of your eyes. Your dad ever tell you that? You're fired. It's hell being everybody's dad. Teaching these boys how to be men. Teaching them how to keep the sun out of their eyes, protect their eyes. Reflexes like a wrecker rig. How much weight do we shed? Oh! Not that much. Actually pretty light. I think we are going to gain a little bit of weight with these though. And what I like about these is they got a big drum. That's why I went to a 15K instead of putting 10s on my boom. It's gonna spool a little bit more rope, so I'll have longer ropes on my boom. It's not for the extra mass and pulling power, it's for the extra large drum. And when you jump up to a 15K, you get a bigger drum. We're back in the shop this morning working on world's largest off-road wrecker here, trying to put winches on it. We were out all night picking up wrecks off of I-40. Everybody's tired, so it looks like old Wrecker Rick's got to do a load transfer. I got to go transfer a full load of chicken. So if y'all are wondering why I can never get anything done, this is it. It's never ending owning a 24/7 towing company. We'll be back in here in a jiffy. I just got to go move 50,000 pounds of chicken real quick, so stand by. I need a truck to go get the trailer that we need to do a load transfer on because it's in the backyard. We need to bring it up here and be able to do a load transfer. This sounds like a job for the Crashcadia. Oh yeah, listen to that baby purr. This is her good side. Look ship shape. You guys gotta do a walk around even when you're driving the Crashcadia. What do we got here? What's going on here? What's going on here? You've got to be f***ing me. There's one of the wrecks we just brought in from last night. The easiest way to do a transload on a setup like this is to butt the trailers up to each other, throw a piece of aluminum in there, and then use a pallet jack. Problem we're gonna have is the load is shifted, so we're gonna have to hand stack all that chicken. The other issue we're having is this trailer is taller than the other one. I know an old Indian trick though.
When I worked at Walmart, I was the meat guy. I'd down stack all these and then put them on the shelves, tag them.
Caleb, he's a hand, ain't he, folks? He used to be the meat guy, so he's gonna actually stack all this himself.
I had help.
Y'all remember Hot Rod that used to work here? This is his brother, CalebRod.
Yeah.
All that has to go in here. What happened is this trailer was in a wreck, knocked the bogies out from under it, and knocked one rail out so the bogies won't sit in it straight. The trailer dog legs going down the road. They can't drive it like that. So now we gotta do a transload into a nice new trailer. The reason this has to be stacked by hand is on impact, it knocks all the cargo off the pallets. If they don't hit that hard, a lot of times we could just get a forklift in here and do it on a loading dock. When this happens, we want both trailers cool, so we just butt them up to each other and we stack everything by hand onto the pallets. You want to work for a heavy towing company, sometimes you got lump chicken. Made it back in the shop, finally. The chicken has found its new home in the new reefer. Diesel Boots is still standing in the same place as I left him.
I'm good at standing around. You get paid for it.
First things first, we're gonna pull these winches off. We're gonna pull these two boom winches off. And then we're gonna build new brackets to mount the new winches. So stand by. Should we be taking that whole thing off? Because we're probably gonna have to rebuild this whole thing, aren't we?
That's what I was trying to explain to you earlier. With
All right,
the winches
let's
on it.
do that. Let's do that.
Okay, I wanted to do that, but you told me take each one out, and I'm like, well...
Well, that's because you suck at explaining things. And that whole thing right there will just come off the boom. And then we'll just build a whole new cradle to hold the two new winches.
Yeah, that battery sucks.
You ever get your beard completely covered in hydraulic fluid?
Every day.
I forgot you don't have a beard. You know who else doesn't have a beard? My wife, my mother, my grandmother, my sister, my niece, and Niro. This one is a doozy, folks. Oh, guess it'd help if I wasn't tightening it. Edit that. Future Wrecker Rick.
What an idiot! Oh, what a loser!
See right here, this is what a normal winch has. It goes through the drum, but it only goes through the drum one time. The Warrior winch goes through right here, and then it throws 5 wraps on there and then goes through again. Way better than this setup. This setup right here, when you get to the end of your winch line, it just pulls out of this hole. The wraps around the winch drum is where you get all your strength from. That's where it grips the winch drum. That's where it pulls from. Once there's no wraps left, this little hole, this socket right here doesn't hold nothing. Can you hand me that 1/4 inch ratchet? Thank you. You got any ideas on how to get those winches out of there, cowboy?
Grab a skid steer.
It's out on a wreck.
Rotate.
Out on a wreck.
What about the loader?
Out on a wreck. All right, hold this. Stand by, folks.
Yeah, I think we'll be able to get it with this.
Yeah. Throw a chain on it, let's get her done. Perfect. Left a little yellow paint up there. Told you it'd work.
I guess.
Well, that really opens her up. What we're gonna do is we're gonna cut this side off because the Warrior winch is wider, and we're just gonna use this front part of this cradle and the bottom. We're gonna pull off the top on the Warrior just like the worm gears here, and we're gonna see how it does. Stand by. I'd like to use what's left of this cradle rather than just throw it away. Some good hardware, you know, 1/4" steel. It's got nice bends. It's already got the rake that I want, so that the winch lines line up with the shiv heads, so the winches spool correctly at the right angle. If you just put the winches, set them on there straight, it'll all bunch up on one side of the drum. That's why they're in there at an angle. Oh yeah, that's beefy. Now I just have to cut this side off. As this winch is 10 inches across. The worm gear winch was 8 inches. This is not wide enough. So we're gonna have to make a new winch trough, but this one's gonna work. We're just gonna do a little customization. Stand by. I can use a torch as good as most people could use a plasma cutter, so that's why I use a torch. We got the old winch trough cut up. I'm going to add some extensions to it because I'm too cheap to buy new steel to build a new winch trough. I'm gonna add 3 inches to here because, see, my winch is a little wider. I'm gonna add an extension right there. I'm going to have to cut those out on the plasma table, so watch your eyes. Let me cook. Might want to check it because I don't think I got the radius right. Got the radius wrong right there. It's about the size of that grinder wheel. That grinder wheel is 4.5 inches. Back to the drawing board. Let me cook. See, there's the radius. Size is that radius? 3/4. 2 1/4 is half of 4.5. So let's go with 2 1/4. That looks more like it. I threw the old part back in the hole, so it'll just cut through the same lines and cut that little space off. Perfect. You know, one thing that sucks about YouTube is every time we film, we have to pause the music. And I don't know if you guys listen to music a lot. We listen to music non-stop here in the shop. Like right now, I'm listening to Broken Halos by Chris Stapleton. Wish I could share that with y'all. Well, that'd make this video a lot better, wouldn't it? I've got the pieces in there. They look good. They're mocked up. Now I need to weld them up. While I'm doing that, I'm going to listen to Marshall Tucker's Fire on the Mountain. And you guys enjoy this music while I do that. Or play yourself some Fire on the Mountain. got her done, and we ended on Stevie Ray Vaughan's Crossfire. Little Credence, Proud Mary. Oh, let's get this winch on here and see if we can't get it mocked up. Oh yeah. Oh, she's a big girl. Might be a little bit overkill. Is there such a thing? Is there such a thing as too much winch? I don't think so. Take this off. And then I'll put another plate right here, bolted through the back, where it just slides into the trough. So I need to add a little to this. And then put a back plate on there. Weld the back plate on there. So much for working on Hellboy today. This little gym was blocking the highway and I didn't have any drivers. All my trucks are out, so I had to saddle up and go grab it. Finally back in the shop. Today is going to be the last day. I don't care what happens. The answer is going to be no. I'm working on Hellboy. Come hell or high water, we're going to get these winches on here today. Stand by. Yep, smelling salt. See how Mrs. Rick likes it. Smell this.
No. No. Why would you tell me to smell it?
Smell it.
That's like,
Your viewers
Smell
expect you to smell it.
I don't
Smell it.
care what the viewers
Just get a whiff.
expect. No.
Smell it, babe.
Why?
Cuz. Smell it. I'll do it.
Yeah, go for it. Just smell it salt.
Why? Is it gonna
Smell
kill
it.
me?
No.
What if I die tomorrow from that?
Why would you die from it?
Smelling salt?
There's witnesses. YouTube. You remember back whenever I said that I trusted my husband with my life? He could have just killed me.
Or woke you up.
You're hyper focused now. Alright.
Gosh. Tell you're a smoker.
Oh no.
Get a whiff.
Oh man.
That's my mother-in-law. You want to smell this? What is it? No, you want to smell it? No. Here, smell it. Smell it. Smell it. Get a whiff.
No, is it bad?
No.
Oh no, that's terrible. What is that?
Smelling salts. We're getting the mounting holes drilled out for the winch. These holes right here. I'm using a mag drill. I don't know if you all know what a mag drill is. It's got a magnetic base. You turn the magnet on, holds the drill down, works really well. That's why I love mag drills. They just make short work of drilling through hard steel at any angle. Now we're gonna pull this boom off so we can get to the side puller winch. It'll just make it easier. Last time when we mounted that side puller winch, we left the boom on there and it was a huge pain in the This time we're gonna pull the boom off. It's only 3 pins. We already got the winches off of it, and that way we'll be able to work on the boom on the table. It'll be easier. The plan is to use this skid steer to take the boom off. We're gonna use this Tyken to tie it to the skid steer. Bring it in here. Down. All right, come in. Perfect. Always crisscross your safety chains, folks. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Yeah, that's right. That's our Mojab trail jack. I need a screwdriver and a hammer so I can pull these pins out. Are you f***ing me? There you go. A real pry bar screwdriver. Well, those pins were kind of hard to take out, but we got them. We just got to take this big one out now. I'm glad that main pin's going to come out a lot easier.
It's not going to be easy. It's going to be really hard. And we're going to have to work at this every day.
Oh my Lord. That is not good. Well, what we've come up with is we're gonna ram that rod back through and cut the excess off the other side of it. Make it shorter so it'll come all the way out. There was about 1.5 inches hanging out the other side. We're just gonna cut it off. We don't need it. Here, grab a cutoff wheel and cut that son of a bitch off. We're gonna cut that off and then we're gonna ram that back out and hopefully it clears. If not, I'm gonna burn this shop to the ground.
See, I got it.
We got it. Probably destroyed whatever was underneath it. This was supposed to be an easy task.
Nothing's ever easy with you.
Up. Up. Okay, boom down. I think we should just make Hellboy a flatbed.
Do a shed, what, 2,000 pounds?
I don't know, that thing's heavy though. Look at the size of that boom. It looks way bigger when it's not on the truck. Puts it in perspective just how big Hellboy is.
Small.
Lay down next to it. See that guy? And that guy's 6'8". All the work was worth it because look how accessible that winch is. Can't deny it. Mark just pulled the old winch out. You didn't get to see it because Mark sucks.
Well, you take too long. If you take too long again, this one's gonna fall right out too.
Take too long. You got to communicate. Elves are anti-communication or what? Is that a thing?
Pretty much.
Yeah, you pull that one out without telling me. Catch me outside. How about that? You ain't even got the third lead pulled off, cowboy.
Don't need the fair lead pulled off.
Yeah,
to pull
you
the winch
do.
out. How? Fair lead's not. The fair lead's bolted to
The winch.
Is it?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Oh.
Good job.
How about that?
Way to go. Got the drag winch out, ready for the new one to go in. We got the plate cut out of there. Now all we got to do is bolt the winch up right here, remount the plate lower because the Warrior winches are so much bigger than the other ones. We've got to cut this plate out as well. That's the old mounting plate for the side puller. The new Warrior winch won't fit. It's too large to fit in there. So we're gonna have to make a new mounting plate for that. So stand by. Duty calls. I gotta go do a spindle. I'm really psyched about it too. This is why I can never get anything done. Chris is welding up the winch plate for the winches that go on the boom. Niro is drilling holes and I'm going to do a spindle. Niro's on it today.
Psycho.
I'm gonna grab the old welding rig and hit the road. Never leave home without your music box. What I gotta do is I gotta cut that off right here, and then I gotta machine it out, and then I gotta slide a new spindle in there, and then weld it out. Let's check on the boys.
Check it out. The winch is in. Got this little jobby here for the bottom of it. Well, it will go right under the winch. Right in there. Stay tuned.
On the upside, the new shop is coming along pretty well. That's the offices right there. Got all the doors on it. Won't be long, we'll be working in here. Got her cut off. Now all I gotta do is weld a new one on. Then we're out of here. That looks good. That's the new winch trough for the side puller winch. Niro cut that out on the plasma table all by himself. Oh, that looks way better. We took this moment to wrap these power lines before we burnt this truck to the ground. Boy, that looks sharp.
They're up there.
Yeah, I don't know where the sizes are. I'm just a girl.
I don't either.
I'm just a girl.
I just walk around until I find the size.
I'm gonna fire you for being disobedient. I'm gonna take your vape away and go smash it on the ground if you don't get up there and get me my tire.
Get your own tire. Here.
I gave you purple sticky note and everything.
If it was green, I'd do it.
No, go! Dad,
What?
tell him to go see if the
You
tires
tell him.
up there. I told him.
We're having a cousin spat.
You're not my cousin anymore.
Cousin quarrel.
Go do it.
Somebody's waiting for a tire changer.
A quarrel between cousins.
This is bad
So
service.
you get a customer.
Yeah, I know. I got like 3 and I need you to check their tire.
Go help her find that tire. We're gonna drop this winch in here and mock it up. See if it'll fit. Oh, we got it backwards. It'd help if we put it in the right way. That's perfect. Winch number 2 is ready to weld in. While he's welding that up, I got a couple little pieces to cut out with the plasma cutter. They go right down in there for a little added support. What is this, Big O? Big O tire?
I guess so.
Niro is not happy that I pulled him off of Hellboy to slap a tire on a Nissan Sentra or whatever it is. The reconstructed plate fits on there nicely. What do you think?
Looks pretty cool to me.
Perfect. Now we're just waiting for one more winch to go right there. I gotta tell you, that winch looks classy in there. I like the classy Warrior Red. Or I guess you could say the classy Murphy's Red. I've trademarked the color red, it's mine now. We got the drag winch in. We gotta get some Allen bolts to fit these holes to put our Yankum fairlead back on. We also gotta get hydraulic lines made and hydraulic fittings because these take different lines and fittings, and then she'll be up and ready. So we'll get those fittings and those lines and our 4th winch mounted, get the boom back on there, and look for a video next week sometime where we're putting these Warrior winches to the test. It's been a long week and I'm gonna call it a week, folks. Stay classy.